بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome to the Aqeedah class. Today inshallah we will discuss the sixth pillar of Iman. We finished the 5 pillars of Iman and now we're moving to the sixth pillar, which is very important pillar. Belief in the divine decree. Al-Iman bil-Qada wal-Qadar. In Arabic, there is a difference between Qada and Qadar. But we can use one of them for the two meanings. In English, there is no difference, so we don't have to worry about it. It is divine decree. What's the evidence that divine decree is a pillar of Iman? Yes? What about Hadith Jibreel? Yeah, what did he say exactly? وَأَن تُؤْمِنَ بِالْقَدَرِ خَيْرِهِ وَشَرِّهِ. And to believe in the divine decree, whether it is good or bad. Right? Can the divine decree be bad? That's the question. Because in Arabic, وَأَن تُؤْمِنَ بِالْقَدَرِ خَيْرِهِ وَشَرِّهِ. There is a good decree and there is a bad. Does that mean Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala creates bad decree?
That's what it looks a lot to us as human.
That's how it looks to us as a human.
This is not the intention of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
That's not the intention of Allah.
It's always for our best, but
Yes.
how we look at it.
وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. Yeah, He is able to do anything, but that's not the question. We're not saying whether Allah is able or not, but did He create the evil? Now, does the evil come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Yes? No? Then how will you interpret this hadith? وَأَن تُؤْمِنَ بِالْقَدَرِ خَيْرِهِ وَشَرِّهِ. You have to answer this, because here is the thing. This topic is very serious and very dangerous, and most of the deviant sects, they deviated because of that pillar, qadar. It is unclear to many people, but I hope inshallah it will be clear for you. And that's why I don't want just to lecture. I want to hear from you also. We want to discuss. Yes? Is it bad or good? That's my question. If it's good, then how the Prophet ﷺ said it is bad? وَأَن تُؤْمِنَ بِالْقَدَرِ خَيْرِهِ وَشَرِّهِ. Now the closest answer was Hisham's when he said to us, to you as a servant, like if you lost a dear person, a father, a son, a wife, a husband, a relative, is that good to you or bad? To you. You will cry, you are sad, right? But in general, it is good. Just like the judge when he sentenced the criminal to death. Would the criminal say, thank you, you did justice? Or he will say, that's injustice and, right? But for the society, it is what? To him, that is what? That's evil. That's just an example. That's what the Prophet ﷺ meant by saying, وَأَن تُؤْمِنَ بِالْقَدَرِ خَيْرِهِ وَشَرِّهِ. Whether you feel it was good for you or it is bad for you. But it was interpreted better in the other hadith. وَالْخَيْرُ مِنْكَ وَالشَّرُّ لَيْسَ إِلَيْكَ. The khair, everything which is good, comes from you. But the evil does not come from you.
I always look at it, I always remember Surah Al-Kahf and the conversation between Sayyidina Musa and Sayyidina Khidr, and how he looked at the things that Sayyidina Khidr did.
Yeah.
And then the explanation of Sayyidina Khidr, why did he do these things?
Yes, why?
For khayr, even though Musa saw
Yes, that's Surah Al-Kahf, the story of Musa alayhi salam and Al-Khidr, that's a good example to remember the qadr, that from an aspect that you may think it is bad, but there is a bigger picture you are not looking at. Things do not always as they seem, but you have to dig inside. Whatever he does is good. There is an ayah in this meaning, I'm trying to remember it. That's the problem when I try to... Yeah. Anyway, why this topic is important? As I said, because many of the sects, they deviated. And also, people are confused how they can reconcile between the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded us to do, and the decree that is prescribed and predestined already. Now, doesn't Allah know what will happen tomorrow? He knows or He doesn't know? He knows. So why should we bother choosing if whatever Allah wants will happen tomorrow? That's the question that many people post, and it makes them confused. Yes? You don't know, but it will happen or not? It will happen. So why should I? Because you have some will. So that's good, because that will bring us to the question. Do we have free will? You do. Did you choose your gender, male or female? No. No. How you say you have a free will? Did you choose?
After these things were chosen,
Yeah. So we have a free will. In everything? No, not in everything. This question by itself is a wrong question, actually. Are you obliged or you have a free will? Because it implies that there are only two answers, whether this or that. While there could be more than. You are obliged in few things and you have the choice in other things. And does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hold you accountable for things that you don't have choice in them? Yes or no? No. So, yes, Fatima. Our will is depending on Allah's will. What do you mean by that, Zuhair? Because we will clarify this statement in this topic, inshallah. Depending on it? Well, there is an ayah, وَمَا تَشَاءُونَ إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ. And you don't will or you don't wish except that with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills. But we will explain this ayah. We are coming, inshallah, to all these ayat. Now, again, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows, now doesn't Allah know you will do good or bad? So why then He holds us accountable? Yes? Dua. Dua changes the qadr. Does it change the qadr or not? What's the evidence? لا يرد القدر إلا الدعاء. Nothing changes the qadr but dua. But how can you reconcile this with the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that رفعت الأقلام وجفت الصحف? The pens are lifted and the ink is dry. So, does Allah know what will happen? Or now, there are some deviant sects, they said, Allah does not know what will happen. And that's kufr. There are some deviant sects, they said, Allah does not create the evil. Now, if someone killed someone else, did Allah allow this or not? They said no. If you say yes, that means Allah allows evil. And no one allows evil but an evil. So that's why they said no. But again, they wanted to avoid something which they thought is wrong, but they fall in a horrible thing. If you say Allah did not allow it, yet it happened, what power does Allah have if that's the case? Now again, this is a serious topic. Now back to the question, does the qadar change or not? If it changes, then what was written 50,000 years ago?
50,000 years before Khalid.
Yeah, before the creation. What was written?
Even this, the dua that you make and the change of the qadar is written.
Is written. Okay, good. Yes.
What about like that one person that Prophet
Salam.
told, the people that are going to paradise, and he told there's some one person that all people going to paradise and hellfire. Like, what about that?
What about it? People went to paradise and hellfire. The Prophet ﷺ said Allah created paradise and He created people for paradise. He created hellfire and He created people for hellfire.
Didn't he tell me names of people? That one, I don't remember the names exactly, but it was like this one person knew the names of people that would be in paradise.
I don't know this. I don't. Yes.
Shazza is saying that there's a hadith of Prophet who said to do action because we're working toward our faith.
Yes, again, that's the question. The Prophet ﷺ asked us to do actions.
So there's also saying the fact that you would make dua was also written.
The fact that you make dua, that's also written, yes. Many of these questions will be clarified, inshallah, in the next session. The next one is very important. It is about the levels of qadar. How qadar happens. This is very important. But now I'm happy because I want these questions. If these questions are not answered, it
Can we differentiate?
hold on. Yes.
And then Jimmy said, it's our actions or our intentions that count what we want to do, but Allah determines what will happen.
It's our actions and our intentions that count. We will be judged. But what if you intended to do good and what you did was bad? Does that mean Allah did not allow you to do good? If that's the case, then why you are responsible for the evil action you did? Or if that's the case, then why Allah will punish us or reward us? If whatever we will do, it is by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, one thing I want you all to remember, when it comes to the matters of the religion, people give excuses. But when it comes to the matter of the worldly things, no one gives these excuses. For instance, if I came and I slapped you, and I told you, Allah wanted this, would you accept that? And you say, no, right? If someone killed another one, and he was taken to the judge, and he said, oh judge, Your Honor, I did not want to do it. Allah wanted it. He will say, yeah, you're right, or he will be punished. Would anyone sit inside his house expecting money to come and saying, if Allah wanted to give me money, I will get money. If I did not get, that means Allah. Would someone do that?
There's people.
Maybe so, yes.
There's people that tried that before, and they still do.
Well, what you will tell those people, they are insane. Why? Because again, that's the problem. People give excuses when it comes to the religion. Like, why someone drinks? Or you tell someone, please, go and pray when Allah wills. What do you mean when Allah wills? Well, Allah did not want me to pray, that's why I'm not praying yet. And there is an interesting story. Because again, the Qadariyah, especially the Mu'tazila, they believe, in their deviant and misguidance, they say that Allah did not want the evil to happen. So if it happened, it is the will of the human being himself. One man came to the masjid, and there was Amr ibn Ubayd, one of the chiefs of the Mu'tazila. And he said, oh people, I lost my camel. Please pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I have my camel back. So Amr ibn Ubayd, he prayed to Allah, he said, oh Allah, you did not want his camel to be stolen. So bring it back to him. The man said, please, stop it. I don't want your prayer. He said, why? He said, if Allah wanted the camel not to be stolen, and it is stolen, maybe Allah wants it to come back, and it will not come back. That's their belief. Now, this is one thing. The other thing, a man from the Mu'tazila, he was giving da'wah to one of the fire worshippers. Now, Mu'tazili, he is still considered Muslim, but he had this deviant belief. He told the fire worshipper, believe in Allah. He said, if Allah wills, I will believe. So the man from the Mu'tazila said, Allah wills, but the shaitan also wills that you don't want to believe. That's why you are not believing. So the fire worshipper said, then I am with the strongest one of them. See, all these, they happened. They did happen. There is some confusion, but you have to be clear. That's the deviant sects. That's what they believed. But we believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what will happen. And everything happens by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The essence of deviating in this chapter, know this and memorize it. The essence is being unable to differentiate between the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted this to happen, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed it. Now Allah allows things to happen, but He doesn't like them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes things to happen, and they happen. There is difference. Allah mentioned in the Quran, the ayah, in takfuru, if you disbelieve, فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَنِيٌّ عَنْكُمْ. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not in need of you. وَلَا يَرْضَى لِعِبَادِ الْكُفْرِ. And He does not approve, or He doesn't like disbelief for His slaves. Now He doesn't like it, but it happened. Did it happen or not? But does that mean it happened without the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? No. See, that's the key in this topic. There is difference between what Allah allowed and what Allah loves. Because if nothing happens except what Allah wants, that means when you disbelieve, because Allah wanted you to disbelieve. So why should you be responsible for this disbelief?
Because He wanted to disbelieve. He didn't want to believe.
If He wants me to disbelieve, why then He will punish me? He wanted that, and He made me.
Just like the hypocrites.
It's not
He
that He
wanted
wanted.
the bad so bad, and He kept after it that Allah increased them.
Yeah. Allah increased the hypocrites in their disbelief because they wanted it. But now that's different. That's you wanted to believe, but Allah wanted you to disbelieve.
No, that's okay.
See, that's the thing. You had a question earlier, or it was answered? What's the comment?
Like you were saying how you don't want to get up in the morning how like when you're not, it's kind of like tawakkul, like you have to tie up the camel before you leave it.
Yes, you tie the camel. Why you fasten your seatbelt? Why you have alarm inside the house? Why you put alarm? Why you lock your door? Keep it open. Don't even close the door. That's what Allah willed. If your house was stolen, does anyone do that? Do you keep your car unlocked with the key inside it and you say, if it will be stolen, Allah wanted it to be stolen? No one does that. So, there are two types of qadar. Qadar kawni and qadar shar'i. Qadar kawni, the decree that happens in the universe. Just like the sun rising from the east and setting in the west, whatever happens in the universe, that happens by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but not necessarily Allah loves it. Like what? Like if the Muslims were defeated, that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already prescribed, or that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already decided 50,000 years ago. But the qadar shari in the religion, that's what Allah loves and what Allah wanted to happen. Both of them do not happen without the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But there is what Allah loves, and there is what Allah may love or may not love. That's the qadari. And we will explain it more, inshallah. So, now the question is, you will enter paradise, inshallah, because you did the good deeds, or because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made you doing the good deeds? Both.
Because you choose. Allah has given you a freedom of choice to choose.
Allah gave you the freedom of choice.
And you choose, and Allah allows.
Allah allowed. If I chose the evil, why then Allah allows it?
Because He has given you the freedom of choice initially.
Because He gave us
The freedom of choice.
the freedom of choice. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just. Now again, there is no excuse here. You were given the choice. You were told this is good and this is bad. But you chose the bad. Can you come later and say that's injustice? Because Allah was able to make me do the good. Is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala able to make everybody believe? Yes. That's what Allah says in the Quran clearly. وَلَوْ شَاءَ رَبُّكَ لَآمَنَ مَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ كُلُّهُمْ جَمِيعًا. If your Lord willed, He will make all the people on earth believe. If He is able, then why not? Why didn't He do that? When we say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is merciful, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so just, then why didn't He make everybody believe? That means He made the disbeliever disbelieves. So why the disbeliever is punished? Yes. What about the angels? I'm sorry. Yeah, the angels are doing everything. Then why don't we do the same thing?
What's the use of our creation?
What's the use of our creation? Now remember, there is one thing. Again, asking many questions, that's not good. But you need to know your religion. What's the meaning of Islam? Submission. You were asked to submit. Did you submit or not? That's the question. Now here, yes, when we say there are angels and there are human beings, what's the difference? The angels do not disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the human beings, they have the choice. They can obey and they have the choice not to obey. Now why they did not obey, why they are punished, there is a greater benefit. Do not look at the punishment for this individual or that individual. Just like creating the harmful animals. Do people die because of sharks, because of snakes, because of... Why? Why Allah created poisonous animals? Why? If you look at that animal, yes, you should get rid of it. But for the life circle, maybe it is beneficial, very beneficial. The same thing, when the kafir is thrown in hellfire, there is a greater good. Just like the criminal, when he is sentenced to death or when he is punished, there is a greater good. Yes, if the righteous believers, they are higher than the angels because they were able to disbelieve and they chose. They were able not to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and they chose to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah, but what this has to do with the question? Yes, Allah created us and we have the choice. If we do good, we will be rewarded greater than the one that he will obey anyway. But if we did bad, and here comes the question, that's what people, again, as I said, when you ask someone, why don't you pray? And he says, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills, I will pray. What do you tell him? That will not work. That will not work. You tell him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you the choice. Now, when you enter the masjid, you go, you leave, and there are two places. There is a masjid and there is a bar. If someone went to the bar, and you tell him why you went there, he says, well, Allah created both. If Allah wanted me to be in the masjid, I would have been there, but Allah wanted me to be here. What do you answer? Allah gave me a choice. Yes, Khalil.
You tell them that Allah ordered you to go to the masjid, and He forbade you from going to the mosque.
Yes. Again, that's back to the qadar kawni and qadar shari, what Zuhair said. Now, when Allah commands us to do something, that means He loves it. So you have to do it. And you have the choice. But here is the thing. Now, here is the question. Allah prohibited us from doing this thing. Yet we did it. Wasn't Allah able to stop us from doing it? But He did not. Then why we are responsible?
Because of that choice. That's why you're responsible.
Allah commanded us, right? Allah wants us to go to the masjid to pray. And Allah does not want us to disobey Him. Doesn't He know what we will do? Then why He commanded us anyway? Yes?
He commanded us so we know what would be the better thing to do. So we have that knowledge of what's
Yes. Yes. Actually, there are rules coming, inshallah. We will have principles. Now remember, in Islam, is everybody responsible for his actions? Everybody? Who's not responsible? Children, insane. Why? Why the child is not responsible?
Because he not have that maturity to choose.
Because he is not fully mature to distinguish between the right, between what's correct, what's right, and what's wrong. What does that tell you? That tells you Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just. He will not punish you if you don't deserve punishment. So you're given the choice. Again, as I said, this confusion will be removed, inshallah, totally when we study the levels of the qadr. This will be tomorrow. What else? Do you have any questions about qadr? Confusion? Yes?
Did you answer the question about the reconciling the dua and qadr?
Yeah, what about reconciling dua and qadr? What about it?
I don't think I heard what you said about that. Because you asked her how do you reconcile that, and you didn't have an answer.
How do we reconcile dua and qadr?
That was the question you asked her, but I don't think you had an answer.
No, Hashim answered. In the qadr, it is written that you will do the dua. And this will be changed. But it's also coming, inshallah. Alhamdulillah. So if someone came, like we have the story of Adam alayhi salam and Musa alayhi salam. And he said, Musa alayhi salam asked Adam, why you ate from that tree? Adam told him, do you blame me for something was written 50,000 years ago? So Adam was right. That's what the Prophet ﷺ said. Someone comes and says, you're telling me the same. You blame me for smoking, you blame me for disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you blame me for something was written 50,000 years ago. What do you say? This hadith caused lots of confusion. Oh, it's in Bukhari. Okay, you know what? That's your homework. Really? No, really, I want you, because if you did not search, you may be confronted with some questions like that and you won't be able to answer. Now, the homework is this hadith. Go back to the hadith of the story of Adam and Musa. Adam and Musa. Musa alayhi salam blamed Adam for eating from the tree. The hadith of Adam and Musa. Musa alayhi salam blamed Adam for eating from that tree. But Adam gave the excuse that this was written, that he will do it 50,000 years ago. So, what are the lessons from this hadith? And what if someone gave the same excuse for disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What's the difference between what Adam said and what people nowadays say? The lessons and the difference between what Adam alayhi salam said and what people nowadays say when they disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is it the same? If it's the same, if what Adam alayhi salam said and what people nowadays are saying, then we should stop da'wah. Why we are inviting people to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? If they would say, if Allah wanted us to believe, we would have believed. But this is something written 50,000 years ago. This is due, not tomorrow, don't worry. Next Monday, inshallah. No, Monday is due, but the class is Tuesday. Okay, I'll stop here. Is there any question? Yeah, go ahead. That's why I'm not going quickly. Here, there are like 50 pages about the qadr. So I can discuss them all, but if we went quickly.
The biggest question I have is about Harut and Marut.
Biggest question is about Harut and Marut. What about them?
Was that also written?
Was that written? What do you mean? Do you suspect that something happens without being written?
I understand. But
This is the question. Is there anything happens in the world, the entire world, that is not written?
the story itself is very confusing.
The story
Why did it happen? The lesson that's driven of it. And then if angels...
Well, there are many questions. Why it happened? Why it happened? There are lessons why it happened. To test people, to show the angels the superiority of human beings. There are many lessons. What else?
Were the angels at that point human or were they angels? And if they were angels...
Yeah, this has nothing to do with the qadr, whether they were angels or humans. No, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them the characteristics of humans when they came to the earth. They were angels, but with desire, with lust, with the ability to sin.
And if the angels did that...
Yeah, that's the question, what people say. If the angels disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, why you blame me? Or if the prophets, can the prophet make or commit a minor sin?
Yes,
Can the prophet commit a minor sin?
yes, Moses killed us all.
Yes. So, why you blame me? I am not a prophet, and if I committed a minor sin. Doesn't Allah forgive the major sins? Allah forgives all sins. So, Allah inshallah will forgive me. If He did not, that means He doesn't want it. What do you think?
It's very mind-boggling. That's all.
You need to know the answers. Don't expect always to have the answers. You search for the answer. And this homework will help you, inshallah.
A friend
Yes.
of mine in Egypt who raised the Harut al-Marud thing.
It is clear.
And as far as the angels, didn't Allah command them to do that?
Command them to do what?
To go down and do that?
Command them to go down. But not to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But teaching magic, you mean teaching magic? Yeah. Maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded them to do this as a test. Yes. This is Sharh al-Aqeedah al-Tahawiyya, the commentary on the Aqeedah al-Tahawiyya. Not the entire book, translated to English, but because there is the book and there is the commentary on it. There is one translation in English, I believe. There is. Yeah. It is Al-Izz bin Abd al-Salam. There is no one but Al-Izz bin Abd al-Salam. He's the one who explained the Aqeedah al-Tahawiyya. Yeah, but who's the one who verified it? That's what makes it different. Because I have another one, again, Sharh al-Aqeedah al-Tahawiyya for Ibn Abi al-Izz, but it is less than half size of this book. Okay, we'll stop here, inshallah.